Enter the stars. And this is what money buys you. A couple headlines that I wanted to go over on this Saturday. This is pre-recorded, so hopefully I'm in the chat with you guys. But basically, here's an update on the Griswold case. And one of the jurors that could cause a mistrial works for the Carlyle group. Now, if you have forgotten who the Carlyle group is, let me refresh your memory with this video.
A number of very high-profile ex-politicians, folks like George Bush Sr., John Major, the former Prime Minister of the UK, James Baker III, Frank Carlucci, the former Secretary of Defense. So there's a long list of ex-politicians, and these guys are able to help Carlyle work the government-regulated industries, such as defense and aerospace, telecommunications, healthcare, because of their expertise in working in these areas while they were public servants.
In the PR copy that's sent out, a riveting history and a hard-hitting expose. The Iron Triangle clearly and chillingly demonstrates how the Carlyle Group is shaping U.S. policy and reaping astounding riches by insinuating itself into the very fabric of the world's economic structure. I do, though, want to read this to you and get you to expound on it. Watching, and here's the book, and we'll show the audience. Watchdogs might as well be barking at the moon, because the scandal here is not what's illegal, but what's legal. Has this company, the Carlyle Group, named after the hotel in New York City, ever done anything illegal?
Well, I couldn't say that they have never done anything illegal. I certainly never uncovered.
So, there you have it. The Carlyle Group. Now, interestingly, this Carlyle Group, or the Carlyle Hotel, as you just heard him mention, is actually in the list of phone numbers in the Black Book. Now, if that doesn't scream corruption, I don't know what does. So, this may be it. This could be the very reason why this is called a mistrial. This woman will escape justice once again, and the scapegoat has been let out of the pen. Now let's get into some other stories today that I wanted to share with you guys. People are finally speaking out about how ridiculous these mandates are. You have Vidco positive nurses that are allowed in the hospitals as long as they're got their Pokemon sticker. But if you don't have a Pokemon sticker, but you're still not sick, you're forbidden from the hospital and you lose your job. Let's read this article. Bo Jiven's mandates, including his order for more than 10 million healthcare workers to get Vidco injections. That mandate is being challenged by numerous state attorneys general. This could be a bellwether on the fate of civil liberties during and after the Vidco spamdemic. Bo Jiven has consistently portrayed these stickers as a spamdemic panacea. In July, he said, you're not going to get Vidco if you have these stickers, which obviously was a lie. When he announced plans to impose the mandate in September 9th speech, he declared that there's only one confirmed positive case per 5,000 Pokemon Americans. And this has been the problem since the beginning. They're basing these mandates off of lies. And then later the lie comes out, but what can you do about it? And people are making choices and decisions based on the overselling of this thing. Bo Jiven vastly overstated the efficacy, in part because the C to the D to the C had ceased to count the vast majority of the breakthrough infarctions several months earlier. Now, why would they do that? Washington Post reported that their overly rosy assessments of the sticker's effectiveness against Delta may have lulled Americans into a false sense of security. More than 500,000 healthcare workers have already had Vidco infections, and 99% survived. However, Bo Jiven presumes that stickers are the sole source of good health and protection, and ignored post-infarction immunity because of perceived uncertainties. Now, of course, the pharmaceutical companies are going to manufacture these perceived uncertainties because standing alone on natural mooning of the city immediately undercuts their bottom line. So of course they're going to speak out against and cause fear about natural mooning of the city. Now, there was this study here in August that found that people who had VidCo have far better protection against Delta than people who have received multiple VidCo injections. So here we are. The truth is starting to come out. Now, what will happen here, though? Are these mandates going to go through the Supreme Court? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And meanwhile, the pharmaceutical companies have their foot to the gas pedal, saying now a fourth VidCo sticker is going to be necessary. Like, how many of these are people are going to have to endure? The CEO of Moderna said Tuesday that he believes a fourth VidCo sticker will eventually be needed as protection from previous shots wane over time. Addressing a healthcare conference held by Goldman Sachs, Bansal suggested that the protection from the booster will diminish quickly. Okay. So, endless booster seats. Now, this is something that just burns me out because we were saying this in the beginning. But, of course, they had to wait for the data to come out. Well, here's the problem with waiting for the data to come out, is that it's too late. Now, this is alarming. What and how would a sticker change a woman's periods? Like, what's the mechanism behind that? This is a New York Times article, January 7th. Women's periods may be late after VidCo Pokemon stickers. Well, everyone was trying to say this in social media, but you're not allowed to say that. That's called misinfo. But now all of a sudden it's fact. This is the problem with censorship. Because had people rang the alarm bells and started talking about this, maybe people would have made different choices. Let's read this. Shortly after VidCo Pokemon stickers were rolled out a year ago, women started reporting erratic menstrual cycles after receiving the stickers. And they were discredited. They were told they were lying. They were told those aren't real cases until we can confirm them. You're all crazy, medical misinfo. And now all of a sudden they're admitting it. Some said their periods were late. Others reported heavier bleeding than usual or painful bleeding. Some postmenopausal women who hadn't had a period in years even said they had menstruated again. Guys, remember this? A study published Thursday found that women's menstrual cycles did indeed change after the Pokemon sticker. Now, here's the scary thing. Some women's cycles changed that didn't even get the sticker, just being in proximity to people who got the sticker. They were reporting changes. The authors reported that women who were inoculated had slightly longer menstrual cycles after receiving Pokemon sticker. Now, what they don't tell you is that this means more bleeding, and this could affect your iron stores, your iron levels, and everything else. And this could be life-threatening, especially for women that already have a problem with iron stores. Now, of course, according to their official records, there were no reports of women, having extra bleeding unless they got the Pokemon sticker, because they won't admit to those. Even though it was reported, they won't admit to those. The periods, which came almost a day later on average, were not prolonged, however, and the effect was transient, with cycle lengths bouncing back to normal within 1 or 2 months. Okay, how do you make a general statement like that with all the different reports? It says someone with a 28-day cycle that starts with 7 days of bleeding would still begin with a 7-day period, but the cycle would last 29 days. Cycle ends when the next period starts and would revert to 28 days within a month or two. The delay was more pronounced in women who received both the sticker during the same menstrual cycle. These women had their periods 2 days later than usual, researchers found. Now here's the other thing. When anytime you start dealing with a woman's cycle, you're talking about reproduction. And maybe these are some of the concerns that some women had about getting the sticker. I mean, if this thing is starting to affect your cycle, let's say your cycle's been right on the money your whole life, and all of a sudden you're hearing that this is happening to women. Well, this is a cause for concern. This is your health. Especially because they didn't know this was going to happen, number one. Number two, they don't know why it's happening. They're not telling us why it's happening. So that's scary. They don't even know. Let's keep reading. The study in the journal Obstetrics and Gynecology is one of the first to support anecdotal reports from women that their menstrual cycles were off after the Pokemon sticker. It validates that there is something real here. You think? Who has heard about irregular cycles from his own patients. At the same time, he added the changes seen in the study were not significant and appeared to be transient. Of course they're going to say that. I want to make sure we dissuade people from those untrue myths out there about fertility effects. Okay. A cycle or two where periods are thrown off may be annoying, but it's not going to be harmful in a medical way. Well, how do you know that? If you don't even know the reason why a Pokemon sticker would do that, then how can you with certainty say that there isn't going to be an effect? How do you know that? He had a different message for postmenopausal women who experience bleeding or spotting, whether after the sticker or not, warning that they may have a serious medical condition and should be evaluated by a physician. Seriously? One serious drawback of the study, which focused on U.S. residents, is that the sample is not nationally representative and cannot be generalized to the population at large. So they're basically trying to discredit the data here. And this is crazy, you guys. Now understand, going back through history and different studies and clinical trials and all these things, women were historically excluded from many of these trials and things. Now, why do you think that is? For reasons like this, probably. So, we'll keep an eye on this. But, the truth always comes out. Problem is by the time the truth ends up coming out, people have already made choices and decisions based on lies. And these choices and decisions can affect them the rest of their life. Anyway, I'll keep you guys updated on this. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care and be safe.